Just last week, Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth visited Dothan, giving an update on the state of the Alabama economy. Today, another state leader went a little more in depth at a Republican women's event. News 4's Will Polston joins us now. Will, you spoke with the state treasurer who says the state is close to reaching a big milestone. What can you tell us?
Yeah, it's correct, Kinsley. Alabama State Treasurer Young Boozer was in Dothan earlier today. He highlighted some of the successes of the state's economy. By balancing the budget, Boozer says that the state can generate a surplus in funds year after year. With the addition of funds from federal programs, Alabama has made large financial leaps. Boozer reported more than $400 million generated for the general fund just last year. And this fiscal year, Boozer predicts an even higher surplus.
This year, we're on track to make $575 million. This is something that I would never have dreamed we would have been able to do, is to manage our cash flow in such a way that we would have been able to generate $1 billion in that short period of time.
Now, Boozer says the biggest concern right now for the state's economy is its workforce. The Alabama Department of Labor reports Alabama's labor force participation rate at just 57%. Kinsley?
Well, Polston, thank you. 49 states require some balanced budget option for their funding. Vermont is the one state without restrictions.